real quick. It's January 3rd, 2023, and what better way to start off the year than by cleaning out the details, man. I'm probably not gonna do any intro for this video for episode 5. I'm just gonna jump straight into it and kind of show you guys what I was talking about last episode. I did switch up my details and clean them up a bit. Nothing too drastic. It kind of keeps the same flavor of the display, the same bones, same general idea, but just switched up a few poses here and there. But yeah, man, here starting off, you guys already know we got the villains display for Marvel Legends. As far as this goes, man, I kind of separated the display into 2 sections. On the right, I did the villains, street level villains, and mainly Spider-Man villains, so you guys can see right there. That's the right side. And on the left side, I did more cosmic / Avengers / kind of like different kind of major villains on the left. We gotta have our boy Doom here in the front, always leading, always being the most mechanizing, most thoughtful villain of them all, in my opinion. And then we got Kang here, man. He's coming up on the MCU, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, man, main thing I got going here is I wanted to make sure that all of them were visible from the first contact with them, I guess. It's kind of hard when you have this many figures in one section. You can't make them all visible perfectly, but for the general idea, I think I did a pretty good job. Just come let me know what you guys think if you can see most of them. So yeah, man, when I came to kind of setting up my new display and switching it up, I kind of try to hit 3 main points. First one was to clean everything up because it was stupid dusty. Second was I was bored of the current poses, man, so I had to kind of switch it up a little bit. And the third criteria I kind of gave myself was they all needed to be visible, at least as much as possible, right? So going on to the next one, I got Batman here, switched it up a bit. Got the villains on the side, waiting for the rest of the Hush line. Then I got myself some pink skulls back here. Originally, I had them all kind of rocking the same outfit, but I thought I wanted to switch it up, and we got that guy right there giving you the bird. Then we got him, rocking that hockey mask, and then we got him with a cool hat. The cool thing I also figured out, maybe you guys can see it, I'm trying to do this with one hand, is I kind of figured I put the drumsticks in the back, man. So that looks kind of cool, I can't have the whole drum set out here just because I don't have space for it, but I think that's a pretty cool alternative. So let me try to put them back without destroying the display. Alright. Cool. Maybe we did it. He's there. Alright. Moving on. Oh, well, my bad. I did put Cooler back there just because he's too cool of a figure and a big figure to put him in my main Dragon Ball display. But I think that works, man. He looks pretty imposing back there. Got my video game characters back there. My boy Nathan Drake. Got Leon Kennedy here from the third party. Pretty good figure, man. My kind of idea for this section was to have him kind of just giving me that kind of pose that he gets when you're low on health. He's pretty messed up, so he's kind of holding himself. So that's kind of the idea behind that. Got myself Noble team back there, and then I got blue team and a little bit of red team back there too. Now here in the front we got this classic Batman, man. If you guys don't know, well, spoilers, you probably figured out by the time this video publishes, but this guy is actually in my top 10, man. So I really enjoyed this figure. It was just a fun figure overall, man. The classic look, I love it. At first I wasn't the biggest fan, but it just grew on me. And now I got him in that classic pose, almost being, mysterious Batman, man. I love that pose. He's just kind of hiding from the spotlight. Then we got the world's finest here. Can't go wrong with the world's finest. Then we got a little bit of Optimus and Bumblebee. Nothing much changed here. Just iconic poses. I just kind of switched, moved them around a bit. And I got myself my new dwarves and Rippy Wiggins. This guy's a little off of the posing. There you go. But yeah, man. Alright, guys, real quick, here I have the first setup of the new year, man. Yeah, I've been kind of wanting to shoot this Spider-Man for a little while, man. I just tend to not want to shoot, figures that everybody's kind of jumping on at the moment and just kind of flooding the Instagram pages with. But yeah, man, fine, first shot of the year, had this idea of, Spidey catching, Mary Jane. I've had this idea for about a few years now. I just never kind of had the right setup to kind of try to pull it off. The idea is that I'm actually going to flip the picture 90 degrees and make it seem like they're, wall crawling on the wall, man, and he's catching Mary Jane. But yeah, man. Lately I feel like I haven't been really shooting any Marvel stuff, man. Lately it was mostly DC and Dragon Ball Z last month in December, so I thought I wanted to switch it up a bit and start off with my dude right here, Spider-Man. Really awesome figure, man. If it wasn't kind of a repaint, it probably would have been in my top 10 of 2021. But yeah, man, I'm having a lot of fun with this figure right here. Just throw Venom in the background real quick. I want to try different villains, see which one I like the best. But right now, I think Venom is the one that makes the most sense, just because he can wall crawl as well. But yeah, man, there's a setup. I have Spidey, catching Mary Jane. He's like, oh, here, I got you. He's always gonna protect this girl, so he's over here taking care of her before he even deals with Venom over there. But yeah, man. Got the 2 key lights as usual. Got an extra light here. Got the light here, and I actually had a little, the Ulanzi light kind of shining a little bit of purple on Venom, just to kind of give him the animated kind of look. But yeah, man, this shot was mainly inspired by the actual Spider-Man PS4, believe it or not. So yeah, man, excited for the game to come out this year. Alright guys, switched it up a little bit, added Carnage this time to the setup. And I also added that little building in the back to try and create a little more depth in the shot. I actually included it in the Venom shot, but I forgot to record it, man. But yeah, added a little piece of 78 dial to kind of add a little bit of depth to the shot. But yeah, man, Spider-Man's luck. Having a serial killer chase your girl, man. So he's not having the best day, but he's always there to push through, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what's up about us comic fans loving to torture Spider-Man, man. But here we got him dealing with Carnage now. Added a little bit of the green Ulanzi light just to kind of offset the red. Always do your research, guys. What colors match, what colors offset of each other, what colors make other colors pop. And in this case, I did a little research, and it turns out that green makes red pop a little more, so hopefully it shows up in the picture. Alright, on to the next one. Telling you guys, Spider-Man can't catch a break, man. Yeah, man, so now I just kind of switched it up. The idea was kind of to have mostly characters that can kind of wall crawl, I guess, or can climb buildings. I thought about doing a shot with Green Goblin just to kind of incorporate a little bit of more villains in here, but I don't know, man. I didn't want to make kind of Green Goblin flying kind of like perpendicular, I believe it is. So yeah, I didn't want to have him kind of flying at that angle. So I would rather have, it makes a little more sense to me to kind of have Doc Ock kind of walking on that angle trying to catch Spider-Man. But yeah, man, the idea was to get this shot right here, have Spider-Man catching Mary Jane distracted while Doc Ock is about to get the upper hand on him. So yeah, man, I added a little bit of red lighting in the background just to kind of, if you guys can see, kind of give that lighting on the tentacles. But we'll see how it comes out, man. So yeah, man, usual 2 key lights, trying to get as much rim lighting as possible. Had this light right here, have the light right there, and then added that building in the background. So that's it, man. So the final shots come out. Alright guys, we're moving off to the first detail I got here. So in this first section, I got my Mesco and DC display. A few things on the last episode, I guess you guys saw that I did actually paint this guy, man. I did a little bit of red dye, and I kind of just painted him up just because he did have, if you guys remember, if you guys noticed in the other episodes what I've shown him, he did have some discoloring in the suit, so I had to kind of, it was just bothering me too much to even take pictures of it, man. So I kind of had to find a way to kind of correct that, just because it was myself, my own problem that I just couldn't stand it. But yeah, man, switched it up a bit, switched up a few displays, brought John a little forward for the Green Lantern, switch it up, took out one of the Batmans here, the first appearance Batman. Then I got Wonder Woman here, chilling with the lasso. So yeah, it's kind of the main display here. Switched it up a bit. Like I said, nothing too drastic, but I I kind of wanted to switch up display. Another thing I did is I kind of wanted to make it seem like, you know, Joker was having a meeting with all the villains. So I don't know if that comes through as well. Like he's kind of talking to them. They're all kind of looking at him. So you guys can see they're all kind of there just listening to Joker, setting up a plan to kill the Bat. All right, on to the next one. So down here, man, I added that new Daredevil into the display. Kind of have a little bit of Marvel Knights going. My problem when it comes to this, how I display things, I try to build out scenes, if that makes sense, kind of like little posters, or in a way kind of just little sections for each character, each display I'm trying to make. And I hate when it gets too crowded, man. Sometimes you can't help it, but I hate how crowded it gets when your figures just look like they're all over the place. But yeah, we got these things right here. So this one right here is for the Marvel Knights. So I got Daredevil coming in with Elektra, got a little Punisher back there, got Ghost Rider, Blade, Iron Fist, Wolverine, and then we got my boy Moon Knight over there, kind of like setting up like the background of the display with his wired cape. That wired cape is amazing, man. Who did I get that wired cape from? Damn, I can't remember at the top of my head right now, but I'll get back to you guys. I feel bad not giving him credit. It might have been a seller on eBay. I think it was a seller on eBay if I'm not wrong, but oh well. Now for this one, the idea behind the display here was kind of trying to get like the new modern Krakoa X-Men. So if you guys kind of notice on the left side, I got like my X-Force team. If you guys are not reading X-Force, you guys are missing out, man. X-Force is hella killing it at this point. We got you know, Wolverine. He's kind of like the main leader of X-Force. I still need Kid Omega and Domino so in here. But yeah, man, we got Beast back there. That's the new Beast that came in. Kind of had to switch him out as well. That was a little switch out I made. Kind of gave Colossus his bearded look to look a little more modern. And then on this side we got the regular X-Men, so the Cyclops. So right side we got the regular X-Men with the Gamma right there, and then the Iceman. And then on this side we got the X-Force. So I think it's looking pretty well. Now down here was probably the biggest change, man. So if you guys look at past videos, originally this guys down here were super crowded. It was all my legends just crowded into one detail, man. And I didn't like it, man. I don't know. It was bothersome to see how tight each figure was, so I couldn't really enjoy each one of them. So I kind of decided to just kind of store most of them. And the idea behind this display was mostly Earth's Mightiest Heroes, man, the cartoon. So it's main Avengers team / Earth's Mightiest Heroes, right? Just because there's so many Avengers teams out there, I just kind of wanted to have a core team. So on this left side, got new Avengers. So we see, you know, we got the Thing, War Machine, Doctor Strange, Wolverine, and then Spider-Man. These are basically the new Avengers from the Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon. And then we got Cap in the front. Yeah, we got Cap in the front right here. Let me see, is this thing in focus? There you go. We got Cap in the front. Then we got Black Panther, Thor, Hulk, and Hawkeye on the right side. So yeah, left new Avengers, right is the regular Avengers, based mainly on the cartoon series. So I like it, man. It looks a little more clean. It looks a little more, you know, contained, concise, a little more presentable in my opinion. Then down here, finally, we got a little bit of, you know, just random stuff. I got my boy Hellboy. I still wish I got another detail. I'm probably gonna get another detail because I think a lot of these guys deserve a lot more love than being down here. So mainly my Rebeltech Avengers. I mean, sorry, Rebeltech TMNT. I said fucking Avengers. Rebeltech TMNT. Then these are 1,000 Toys Hellboy and Ape Sapien. Then I got my McFarlane with a custom cape right there with all the guns. So I switched it up. I added a bunch of guns to them so it looks just badass and menacing. And then we got Violator back there. So yeah, man, just kind of switched it up a bit too. So that's the main display now. We'll go ahead and move on to the other one in a bit. Alright guys, real quick, this is the second shot of the month. Doing a little bit of Mythic Legions action. The main inspiration behind this shot, man, was kind of the Lord of the Rings dwarves, man. You know, the Iron Hill dwarves, the Moria dwarves, the Erebor dwarves. All of the dwarves from, you know, those mythos of Tolkien, and just kind of just the love I have for this faction, man. They're probably my favorite faction in all of fantasy, and I think I'm kind of trying to do them a little bit of justice, man, because I don't see anybody really doing love for the dwarves, man. The dwarves are probably the most badass faction. They don't take shit from nobody, man. They'll fight anybody. They'll fight the elves, they'll fight the orcs, they'll fight the goblins, even humans. They got hands for everybody, man. And I just love their faction. Little badass dudes with long beards. But yeah, man. You know, kind of trying to depict a big battle going around the lieutenant right here. Kind of the idea that they're being slaughtered. You know, you got the guy over here taking the hammer to the face. You know, goblin coming up behind the lieutenant. This guy might have taken a shot of that goblin, but the orc is coming up behind him to finish him off, and kind of trying to depict this whole chaos happening around the main character, man, and him kind of being hopeless of the battle. But yeah, actually, funny, the background, if you guys noticed it, is actually the entrance to Moria from The Hobbit. So yeah, man, just trying to depict this almost hellish landscape as, you know, the orc hordes and the goblin hordes are just invading their land and they're trying to fend them off. But yeah, man, that was the main inspiration for the shot. You know, I love me some dwarf action, and these guys are pretty badass. It's not the first shot, actually. The first shot kind of fell apart on me, but you guys will see it soon. But yeah, man, really enjoying this figures. Like, I do have a few gripes about them, but I'll get a little bit more in detail on the next section. Alright guys, real quick, here's the final shot for my little Dwarven War Journal photo shoot. The idea behind this shot was trying to kind of make it, you know, trying to have the look that, you know, they're pushing through the orc goblin lines, man, on their last assault. You know, to finally kind of rout the enemy and kind of push them into the hills. I think it came out pretty good, man. Used a few effects down here, you know, just to kind of give it almost that rocky terrain of the Blue Mountains / Misty Mountains. And then I added these little fire effects. Now, these fire effects actually came from the Figma Rengoku. So, yeah, man, they came in pretty good. Pretty good use of them. Other than that, man, you know, it's pretty straightforward shot. I added a little bit of blood effects in there to make it seem, you know, that he's kind of being the line breaker as his men push behind him. You know, he's kind of inspiring them all to finally get rid of the filth from their lands. But, yeah, man, just kind of wanted to give a little bit of a rundown overview on this Mythic Legions figures, man. The Mythic Legions line overall. I understand that the Horsemen is not really into articulation, you know, they're more about sculpt and paint, so that's understandable, you know, they look amazing, you know, their sculpt is amazing. My only issue here is that, man, some of these figures, most of these figures, man, all the Mythic Legions I've owned, I owned a few Knights, you know, I own this, I own some of the Elves, and some of the Valak, you know, Rangers, and all of them get loose, man, loose from the arms and legs, man, and especially from the hip joints. The only ones that didn't get loose on me were the Valak Rangers, those are the Vampire Rangers, I believe, and Lord Baldric and the she-elf. I don't remember her name, but those are about the only ones that didn't get loose, man. So I'm not too sure what's the issue with that, if anybody knows. But the thing is that right at the joint between the elbow and the bicep, right where they fuse, they always get loose, man. They get so gummy. For some reason, the joint won't stay in. They won't hold weapons. It's just, it gets gummy, man. So I don't understand what the exact issue is with these figures, man. I understand the articulation is not their strong point. That's not what they're trying to focus on, but it's still kind of, you know, it's a love-hate relationship when you're trying to pose a figure and he can't even hold his weapon. But, yeah, man. This is kind of the main thing right here. Got the shot going. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. Like, that's just my opinion. I mean, that's my experience with the figures, man. Like, most of them get loose. The orcs get loose. The goblins got loose on me. These guys got loose. I just wish that, you know, that wouldn't be my experience, man. I wish that they would just kind of focus a little more on articulation. Other than that, I mean, these figures are amazing, man. I'll probably keep buying them, you know. I'll keep getting those dwarves, trying to build my dwarf army. The dwarves are my main guys, you know, the most badass army, the most badass faction of them all. And I'll keep buying them, man. But yeah, it's just kind of disappointing to kind of deal with that, especially when you take pictures, man. Me, who does figure photography, you know, I want to be able to pose these figures with ease. You know, the easier they are, the better they are at posing, the better it's me to take pictures, man. And while I did enjoy setting up this shot, it was probably my least enjoyable experience I've had with figures in a while, man. They wouldn't hold their weapons, you know, they won't stand up. It's just an all around kind of issue. So I had to work a little extra to get this set up. But yeah, man. Overall, that was kind of the idea. You know, I just kind of wish that these figures were a little better, because I love fantasy, man. They're probably the best. They are the best fantasy line out there as of right now. Maybe Savage Crucible will, you know, kind of kick them from their throne, but at this moment they are the best line. I just wish they would improve a little more, man, especially in the articulation section. But yeah, man, I mean, these guys look badass sitting in the shelf, but when it comes to posing, they are kind of difficult to deal with. But yeah, man, that was kind of the shot. I mean, those are my thoughts. Rants over. I did use a little bit of the Ulanzi light right here to kind of give that effect of the fire burning beneath them. I had 2 lights in the background, and I had these 2 lights up here. But yeah, man, that was the shot for the dwarves. And I just wish the horsemen would improve on something, man. I'm kind of tired of them reusing the same molds, man. Like, in the case of the goblins, they use the molds for the dwarves. Yeah, I get it. You know, it's easier, it's cheaper for them to reuse molds. But when it comes to orcs and goblins, man, when I think of it, they're more of like, you know, makeshift, you know, cobbled together, like rusty armors, man. Why are we having, you know, the best blacksmiths having their armors? I guess you can kind of think about it like they stole the armor from the dwarves, maybe, you know, dwarves they've killed. But like I said, in this case, what I kind of did, I mix and matched and stuff and kind of switched out a few pieces just to make it look a little more ragtag. They also came with those dwarven feet, man, which I hated on the goblins, so I couldn't have that. So I switched those out for some orc feet. And that's another plus for them, man, dude. Like, they're just the playability of being able to switch parts and add pieces. Like this guy right here, I switched out the head, switched out the pauldron. All of these are positives for Mythic Legions, man. I love that. I love the fact that you can make your own characters. I love that you can ragtag your own characters and create these narratives for all of them, you know. Like, in my head, these guys stole those armors from dwarves, man, and they're using it against their own kin. You know, this guy is kind of a commander, and we got the guy in the background looking like an Urukai, man. These are all cool ideas. I just wish they would improve their articulation. That's just my opinion. But yeah, man, this was the shot. Something real quick. All right, on to the next one. Alright guys, real quick, moving on to the next detail. This next detail is mainly the SHS Dragon Ball line, which I would say is probably my main line I do collect. Dragon Ball was probably one of my biggest, you know, franchises of my childhood, man, and just something I do love, and I still try to watch everything till today, man. It's my favorite anime of all time. I know you guys can go ahead and roast me in the comments, but yeah, man, Dragon Ball is definitely my thing. So yeah, man, let's get into this detail. So mainly for this detail right here, this first one is going to be the Saiyan / Cell Saga. So it's Saiyan to Cell Saga detail, man. So the way it kind of works is I kind of wanted to create a timeline, and you guys can kind of see here that I got Vegeta and Nappa for the Saiyan Saga moving. So from left to right, it's going to be the Saiyan Saga. Then as we move left in the timeline, as we move right in the timeline here, you can see we go into kind of like the Namek Saga with, you know, we got Frieza, then we got, you know, Frieza versus Goku, the Namek Saga, and then we got a little bit of a flashback between Bardock and Frieza right here. Then moving on here for the middle, I actually originally had a Super Saiyan Goku, man, and I had this Goku off to the left side within the Saiyan Saga kind of time frame, but I wasn't really feeling it, man. I felt like there were too many Gokus in my display, or at least in this first section, so I kind of wanted to switch it out and kind of condense it a little bit. Another thing I did add as we move on is we got the Sea Fighters back there with Vegeta. Unfortunately, I do not own Yamcha. I wish I had him, but that would mostly fall within the Saiyan Saga look. But yeah, man, then we move on to the Cell Saga right here with Perfect Cell kind of, you know, having a little pose where he's kind of checking out his new body in his perfect form. Then we got the first form back there. That's another addition to the detail, man. I originally didn't have the first form Frieza in my display, and I went ahead and added him back there to be part of that Cell Saga. We definitely need that imperfect Cell, man. We're still waiting for that figure. Can't wait to have him. He'll probably go back there. We'll probably have to move these guys a little left so they can still be within view of the display, right? Another thing we do need, man, is another Gohan, man. I wish we didn't have a battle damage Gohan so I can have him in his regular Super Saiyan form. Other than that, it's still amazing, man. I hope we get a 3.0 soon. You know, it looks like SHF is moving on between sagas all over again, so I'm excited for that. Alright guys, now we're moving on. This next saga right here is going to be the Majin saga, man. One of the best fights in all of anime history. And you guys can argue with me, man, but I'll still, I'll still prove the point that this is the best fight, at least in all of Dragon Ball, man. And that's Goku versus Vegeta and Super Saiyan 2 during the Majin saga. So, yeah, man. So the display, it's not really set up into a timeline here. There's generally one saga. The only thing that really changed here was probably the Gotenks pose. I have more in the more of a chill pose. And then we did move a little bit of the Majin Buu over here. So on this one right here, he's more of the, it's actually based on that pose from the episode where he's waiting to fight Gotenks, and he's kind of like, he's in the time chamber, I believe. Is it the hyper? No, he's in the, I forget where he was, man, but he was waiting for Gotenks to kind of transform and give him a fight. So yeah, man, this is the pose right here. Nothing's much changed. I did add the Super Saiyan 2 Goku from SDCC, but you guys know about that. So yeah, man, that's what it looks like in the back. Now we're moving on to Dragon Ball Super, man. Now for this one, it's a little crowded for my liking. Originally, I kind of wanted to have a little bit of everybody having their own saga. I just don't have enough space, man. So I probably do need to get another detail for these guys. But yeah, man. So on this guy, same idea. Moving from left to right, we kind of have different sagas. So on here on the left, we have the Beerus kind of movie. Then in the back, we have the Tournament of Power. See if that comes into focus. So yeah, back there we have mostly Tournament of Power. We have 18's kind of being blocked there. I had to fix that. But yeah, man. And then we got this pose in the front was mainly based on the Dragon Ball Broly movie poster. So yeah, man. Got that little setup there. So once again, my bad. Going from left to right, we got Beerus and from the Beerus movie, so the Beerus saga. Then we kind of have a little bit of Goku Black right here with the Trunks. Then going back, we have the Broly movie. Then we have Tournament of Power. So actually it should go from left to right, then back and back to here. Oh, and I also forgot about Golden Frieza back there. So yeah, man, it's a little all over the place, but it's still kind of the idea of the poster. So yeah, that's the Dragon Ball Super cube. Now moving on to the last one, man. This last one here is not really much to say. I mean, it's a bunch of animes all together. You know, I got a little bit of My Hero Academia, one of my favorite animes of all time as well. I got a little bit of Berserk back there. I mean, right here, and then I got a little bit of Demon Slayer with a little bit of Rengoku back there. So yeah, man, nothing much changed between these two detox. Alright guys, real quick, this is a third shot of the month. The inspiration kind of behind this shot was to kind of get this the Pink Skulls to look kind of almost like the Peaky Blinders, man. I'm a big fan of that show, you know, the Peaky Blinders on I think, what is it? Is it NBC? I'm not too sure, man. I know it's a British channel, and you know, just the idea of, you know, these guys kind of being little British punk rock, you know, anarchists, kind of put that connection right there. So I'm most likely gonna call this shot the red right hand of, yeah, the red right hand. That is the theme of the Peaky Blinders, man. And you know, this idea of them always walking in, you know, syncrasy, while, you know, the three brothers walking in syncrasy down the road, it's always been a really epic image in my head. Especially the cinematography behind that show is really amazing, so kind of wanted to recreate that here. Yeah, man. So, you know, try to play with the pinks. You know, I got a little bit of a pink background to kind of shine through the windows of 78 style. I got a few props here on the bottom, as you guys can see. Yeah, man, just kind of wanted to give this idea that, you know, they own the street, man. They're out there, you know, creating anarchy, kind of showing them who's boss, and nobody can tell them anything on their own street, man. So yeah, just a single shot this time, something quick, man. I wanted to also do this shot for the Mezcal contest they got for 1/12 day, I believe. They had a little contest of, you know, photography, so why not, man? Give it a try. As you guys can see in the background, we got those two key lights, really trying to bring out all those details in that, you know, in those soft goods. And then we got little lights in the back. Then I got a little light on the back to get that pink hue in the background. So yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this shot. You know, I hope I was able to really reminisce that little Peaky Blinders kind of intro of them just walking around, but a little more anarchist here. So yeah, man, we'll see how it comes out. Again, this is the third shot of the month, and just trying to have a little fun with it, man. Something cool.
Nice.
Alright guys, real quick, this I believe the fourth shot of the month. Yeah man, just kind of wanted to get a little bit of a quick shot of almost like a comic book cover going right here, man. I've been reading a lot of the Jonathan Hickman run on the X-Men, and I think you guys heard me talk about it before, man. I'm just a big fan of the whole idea of how Hickman re-envisioned the X-Men, man. It's a fun read, man. I'm still catching up to it, but just the way he kind of sets up everything, how he interconnected all the X-Men books was really an amazing job. I was actually reading, well, not reading, but actually was seeing a little bit of an interview where they talked about, Hickman's revision of the X-Men. And man, I really like the whole idea that he kind of set up, that the X-Men have, always been, the marginalized group, right? Fighting against oppression, but at the same time, they've always been divided, man. Just mutant kind of itself has always been divided, even by different ideologies, while they always have fought for, mutant rights. They've always had enemies, man, within the mutant community, and just kind of Hickman thought that what would happen if everybody just kind of came together, kind of saw the greater, benefit and the greater purpose of, saving mutant kind, and kind of having not exactly villains, but just kind of have everybody kind of unify under one nation, man. And I thought that was just kind of genius of him to create that idea of, even the villains, man. Every mutant, whether it's Mr. Sinister, the villains, Professor X, everybody got a position in Krakoa, man. And I think that was just kind of beautiful to see, mutant kind stand together despite their differences and their different take on how they should survive. But yeah, man, quick shot right here. Try to create almost like a cover look. 2 key lights in the back, as usual. Messed around a little bit with the red coloring for the laser effect on Cyclops using the little Ulanzi light. But yeah, man, little setup. Kind of wanted to give it an idea that, their Krakoa habitat was being invaded by AIM, and they were kind of fighting them off. So yeah, man, quick shot right here. Alright guys, real quick, this is the final detail of my display. This whole detail is mainly dedicated to Star Wars, man. So I am a big Star Wars fan, and kind of, wanted to give them a whole detail to them. When it comes to my Star Wars collection, I mix and match. So I kind of have anything SHF front and forward, anything Mayfix, anything import front and forward, and then the rest kind of background characters will be Black Series. So as you guys can see right here, I do have the heroes of the story, Obi-Wan and Anakin up front and center. And as you guys can see, you probably figured out by now, this is my Clone Wars display. So the idea behind this detail is I kind of wanted to create a timeline, right? So the first detail is going to be Clone Wars, prequel era. Then we're going to go into the sequel, into the original trilogy, and then we're going to go into the sequel trilogy. So that was kind of the idea, just kind of my crazy thought process behind how I want my display to be. So yeah, man, starting here in the beginning, we got the Clone Wars. As I said, yeah, this is the Star Wars, the Clone Wars display. So here on the left, starting from left to right, we got Clone Commander Wolf, Plo Koon, Master Windu with 212, and the Bad Batch back there. We have a few of Windu's battalion. I forgot the name for that battalion. But yeah, man, kind of the idea here, as you guys can see, is anything aliens or anything that SHF is not making, I will be kind of putting Black Series in to replace. And in my personal opinion, they fit in pretty well, man. One funny story about this Master Windu actually is that I was actually trying to get that SHF version, but I slept on it, man. And I kept sleeping on it because nobody was getting it. There were so many of them, and eventually did sell out. So I kind of, I slept on it. I did regret it, but eventually one day I hope to get that SHF version. So yeah, man, got Clone Commander Cody right here. Then we got the 2 main heroes of the Clone Wars, right? We got Anakin and Obi-Wan. I kind of wanted to do the display, and my head was the idea that I think it was Sam Whitaker, his name is. I can't remember. For the Star Killer. the Starkiller actor who also played Maul kind of did this really cool explanation how Obi-Wan goes to the different stances, you know, showing his different progression as a character. So I wanted to do the General Obi-Wan, man, and that's his stand. That's the General Obi-Wan, Commander Obi-Wan stance. From the Clone Wars, then we got Anakin here looking a little menacing. You know, during this time he was starting to get a little, you know, a little too aggressive due to the war. Now moving on to the right, we got Anakin's boys, the 501st, with Ahsoka. You know, she was a big part of the Clone Wars, so of course I have to have her here in display. You got Fives, the Rex, the whole 501st, and yeah, man, back here I got a few other battalions kind of doing their own thing, a few commandos. But yeah, man, also the idea behind this display is I wanted to create kind of this poster look, and you guys know that always in Star Wars they always have like the bad guys kind of in the background in the shadows. So as you guys can see right here, I kind of put Dooku and Asajj Ventress in the background, trying to be a little more, you know, trying to be menacing in the background, kind of give it that cool look of like their two main antagonists behind them. So yeah, man, that was the idea for the Clone Wars display. Now moving on to the Empire display, we got it right here, man. So as you guys can see right here, we got a little bit of the Empire display. For the Empire display, I kind of wanted to show like the Imperial might, kind of like the Imperial army. So as you guys can see, we got a bunch of stormtroopers right there, kind of showing the Imperial power. You know, a bunch of variants of the stormtroopers, the jump troopers, the dead troopers, short troopers, you know, a bunch of different variations of the stormtroopers. And the three main baddies, man, in my opinion. Who are the three main baddies other than, you know, Darth Vader, Darth Sidious, and my boy Thrawn right here. If you guys haven't watched Rebels, man, I 100%, you know, recommend. That show is amazing. You know, Thrawn is done so well. So if you guys, you know, get a chance, go check it out. The first season is a little hard to watch, but once you get past the first season, you'll love it, man. So the little changes I made here is I actually took out the Inquisitors, man. I used to have the Inquisitors hanging out behind Vader, but it was getting a little too crowded in here, so I kind of made a real estate choice of I'd rather have the, you know, the Imperial might or this Imperial army kind of showing off rather than the Inquisitors in there. So I kind of have just kind of the Imperial military, Grand Moff Tarkin, another big baddie, man, you know, imposing characters just right here representing the Empire. And this SE, as I said, mainly SHF kind of dominates my display in here. You know, I didn't jump on the SHF City just because he was a little too expensive for my opinion. So I think the Black Series does just fine. You know, Thrawn wasn't really made in SHF, neither than Tarkin. So the only SHF right here, and probably my favorite figure of this whole display would be Vader right here. Can't go wrong with this episode 4 Vader. Looks amazing, man. Alright, moving on to the next display. Now the next display right here, this one's a really interesting one. So this is what I call like the Rebel display. So it's anything after kind of the Rebellion or after the Empire, as I'm going in that timeline theme. You know, I got the Mandalorians right here, the Mandalorian culture. Then I got Luke from the Mando, but like the big four kind of representing the heroes of the Rebellion. Then I got the Rebels back here, Rebels characters, amazing show. I got Ahsoka, then I got Cal Kestis representing the Rebellion as well. A little bit of Mando right here. So yeah, man, this detail mainly represents kind of like the Rebellion display / resistance to the Empire. So yeah, that was the idea behind it. Originally, I did have the main four on the left side for some reason. I kind of didn't think that was kind of the greatest display option, so I kind of moved them front and center since they are the heroes of the story. So yeah, man, put the Mando culture here on the left, put the main four in the front, Rebel heroes in the back, and then I got Mando right here with Grogu. Looking pretty good. And final but not least, we got a little bit of the sequel trilogy, man. Probably the best part of the sequel trilogy would have been right here, my boy my boy Kylo Ren. Then we got a little bit of, you know, a little bit of these dudes right here, and then my bounty hunters. So this display is kind of sequel trilogy / bounty hunters. So yeah, man, that's the main display right now. That's what I got going.
Nice.
Alright guys, a package came in from a guy on Instagram that goes by the name of Star-Lord Rocks, man. The package was actually these little effects you see in the background, man. I did purchase 3 of them just to kind of check him out and kind of get a feel for his work. And I want to say I'm pretty satisfied, man. Yeah, so pretty much I kind of purchased a few aura from this guy on Instagram. He shipped them super fast. They got here super fast, man. The guy goes by the name of Star-Lord Rocks on Instagram, man. Yeah, real quick, man. These effects were mainly purchased just because I wasn't satisfied with the the SH Figure Arts aura effects, man. Those aura effects are actually a little bit inaccurate to the anime, man, and even the manga. Just as you know, if you guys watch Dragon Ball Super, you guys know that the God Ki is actually supposed to be more of a flame effect than anything, and we haven't really gotten that treatment from SH Figure Arts, man, or Tamashi's effects. So we're still waiting on that, but I mean, this is a pretty good alternative, a really good alternative, man. Actually, the way that it's shaped and just the color of it really pops behind your figures, man. So I'm really kind of proud of the purchase I made here, so you guys can see it looks pretty good, man. I think it'll come out pretty nice in shots. I have to go ahead and jump on that and get some shots going with these, man. The another thing that kind of threw me off, which is not a bad thing at all, man, it just kind of threw me off, is that they're actually pretty flimsy, man. They kind of remind me of those effects that Figma kind of gives you. So they do have some flimsiness to them, but I'm it's not an issue at all, man. The color and the shape of it and just the versatility of them kind of makes up for it a lot. So yeah, man, just a little flimsy. Don't expect a solid piece of plastic. That's not really what he's selling, man. These are more of effects. He has pretty good prices on them. Usually charges between 10 to 15 bucks, maybe 20 bucks if I'm not mistaken, for each of these. So I think that was a pretty good purchase in my opinion, man. I'm really satisfied by these. Another cool thing is that actually they do have a little bit of light piping, man. So I'll go ahead and show you guys that in a bit. Alright guys, real quick, I don't know how good this is coming through on camera, but I actually did put a little bit of a Ulanzi light behind the effect, man. And as you guys can see, it does kind of give it a glowing effect, man. If you shine too harsh of a light on it, it will definitely kind of peek through a little too hard. But if you're able to kind of set the settings to your lights and kind of just mess around with the intensity of the light, you can actually see it, man. So as you guys can see, you kind of see Vegeta here, and you can almost see a blue hue behind it, man, which is such an epic thing to see, man. I geek out just the idea of having, a few shots with just Vegeta powering up with the correct, God Ki behind them, the correct aura effect. So let me go ahead and break down a little bit of the light here so you guys can see it a little better. But yeah, man, I think it does kind of peek through. The blue, piping kind of powers through it, man. Really enjoying that. Alright guys, real quick here, I have the red lighting kind of peeking through the effect on Goku, so that's what that looks like, man. It definitely makes the whole thing pop out a lot more, man. I'm definitely gonna have to mess around a little more with these, man. Just look at the way the aura effect kind of shines in the back of them. Yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna try to take advantage of these effects. Alright guys, and finally but not least, here I have Goku Black kind of getting that same effect, man. Got a little bit of pink purplish light behind the effect, man, and you can definitely kind of see it shining through. Really great light piping, man. I'm definitely enjoying these. I have a lot of ideas kind of brewing in my head. Ready to take a crack at these, man. Probably you guys will see it on the next episode. Trying to extend a little back from Dragon Ball this month just because I shot it so much last month, but I'm definitely feeling these effects, man. They're probably gonna be replacing some effects in my display, man. So yeah, let me go ahead and bring down the light a little bit, see if I can get you guys can see a better hue on it. There you go. Yeah, man, that shine pops really nice. Really good stuff. Alright guys, another thing I like to do pretty much is that if I like the posing, man, I tend to kind of just transplant that picture pose back to the detail, man. And here's a prime example of that. Got a little bit of the pink skulls, the earlier pictures, those were the poses I had. I couldn't really have them walking just because I didn't want to, run the risk of them falling and topping everything over. But yeah, man, the concept is still there, man. The main pose is still there. And sometimes, if you like your figures, post them, man. One thing that bothers me, and I can't stand it, is when people grab their figures, man, and they just put them in the detolf or put them in the display, standing there with no emotion, no attitude, nothing, man. They just look like pieces of plastic just standing straight, man. And I don't know, man. If you're gonna display your figures, have fun with it, man. Mess around with it, play with your figures. In this case, I got a pose, took a picture, and then put them right back in the display. But yeah, man, that's something I like to do. All right, guys. All right, guys. Another quick example right here, man. I had that pose from the earlier picture of Krakoa with the X-Men, and pretty much transplanted it to the detail right here, man. I really like how that looks. I even added the little effects I had in the picture with the little piece of concrete. I also added Apocalypse in the back just because, as I said, man, the way, Hickman kind of incorporated the idea of that mutants have no villains but different political factions within Krakoa is such an interesting take on this, and really looking forward to the rest of it. But yeah, man, another prime example. Post your figures, throw them into the detail fan. Another quick addition, man. The little package that came in earlier, man, was this guy right here. Real quick thoughts on the figure, man. I like it. It's a fun little figure. I mean, it's a pretty small figure, man. It's pretty articulated for being this size. My only gripes with it would really be the knees. The knees don't really fully bend. Kind of wish they did. But other than that, man, it's just a fun figure. Like, that hair effect when it looks like he's powering up is such a cool little effect they got going. Really enjoying that, man. And yeah, so I added to the display. The display of the Saiyan/Namek saga keeps growing, and I'm excited for it, man. Guess now I'm gonna really need that Krillin. So, yep, that's what it looks like. Alright, guys, last but not least, got a little effect right here. Switched out that effect, man, just because it wasn't really accurate, and I'm really enjoying this little aura effects made by Star-Lord Rocks. Great work, man. Now it looks more accurate in my detolf. It looks a little more in place, and now I can actually have them a little more accurate displayed. Alright, guys, it's been another episode of Dynamic Saturday. First, I want to go ahead and say, as I always do, I appreciate you guys, man. These videos have been quite an enjoyable experience. I've always said, I guess I've never really mentioned it on camera, but the reason I do these videos is mainly for myself. I kind of like to go ahead and make these videos to kind of keep some kind of record or catalog of my displays and my collection, man. Some kind of record for later in life, whether it's 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I'm not sure I'll keep shooting videos that long, but as long as I keep enjoying them, I want to have something to look back at and be fond of for these times, man. Just the hobby, and just kind of have something to remember where we started, and where will we be with the hobby 10 years from now, man. Just something to kind of show my growth as a photographer, and as well as a collector, as I learn new things, as I upgrade or graduate to bigger spaces, bigger positions, larger displays, all that good stuff is something I wanted to share with the world, man, but mainly for myself. And I've been enjoying it so far, man. I never thought I would be 5 episodes in. It is a lot of work. It does take quite some time to edit these and record, but it's not something that bothers me in a way. If I say, when I mean by work, is it really work when you're enjoying it? I don't even notice the times I spend editing it, just kind of recording my displays and talking about my pictures, man. It's something I love to do. It's something I enjoy. I'm glad a lot of you tend to tune in and enjoy these episodes, and the views show it, so I do appreciate those who kind of start from the beginning and have been here with me so far in the 5 episodes, have stuck with me, man. I got many episodes on the way. As you guys can see here, I'm kind of doing a little bit of propping and just kind of a little bit of brainstorming for next episodes, shots, man. And a few shots I have in mind. Not all of these will be making it into shots. Sometimes I kind of start with an idea, start posing and playing with my figures, and then kind of just abandon the whole idea for one reason or the other. But overall, yeah, man, just kind of wanted to give you guys a rundown on the 5th episode, just because to me it's a milestone. It might not be a lot for some people, but to me it's definitely a milestone that I've been able to stay consistent for 5 episodes, and I plan to stay consistent as long as I can, man. From time to time, I might make shorter episodes, I might make longer episodes, but I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, man. Other than that, I have a lot of stuff in the chamber, as you guys can see. I have a few shots in the chamber being prepared, a lot of things, while I may not be, slowing down in January for the hauls, I have a lot of stuff that might be coming in, man, and I'm more than welcome to shoot it. Other than that, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, those have been with me and that's, watched the episodes from start to finish. I appreciate you all. It means a lot to me. And I'm glad that you guys are kind of being able to experience these videos just as much as I am. I tend to rewatch my videos, and sometimes I cringe a little bit by my voice or the stuff that kind of pops up, but who doesn't, man? So yeah, I appreciate you all. It's been another episode of Dynamic Saturday. If you guys want to see the shots before they come on the video, go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram under FutureRick97. And yeah, man, it's been an amazing episode so far. Amazing episodes. Been having a lot of fun. And I'm going back in circles as I usually do. Alright, guys, I'm out of here.